Good evening. Welcome to the March 9th Commission meeting of the Guilford Parks, Recreation, and Seniors Commission. We're calling the meeting to order at 6:35 p.m. A few introductions for those out in television land. To my right, Sue Robbins, Commissioner. To Sue's right, Claire Kincaid Dunn, Commissioner. And to Claire's right, Ralph Chapani. And we'll have a lot more to say about him later. To my immediate left is Rose Dostert, the Vice Chairperson of the Commission. And to Rose's left, Barbara Pine, who had been the Vice President for a number of years and had served on this commission for about 8 years. But due to the requirements of the town charter, Barbara has to vacate her position and her office on the commission. Although after a year's absence, she can come back, and we do hope she will come back. And to Barbara's left is John Jagelski, Commission member. To John's left is Rick Maynard, the Director of the Parks and Recreation Department. To Rick's left is Kathy Stewart, our recording secretary. And behind the camera is Shannon Gale, our videographer, courtesy of Guilford Community Cable TV, GCC TV. As item number 2 on the agenda, public order, public forum. Seeing no members of the public here, we'll move on. But before we move on to agenda item 3, what I'd like to do is to have the Commission take a look at agenda item number 9, 9A, where we're going to be honored by a presentation from the Eagle Scout candidates for the Boy Scouts, P.J. Melafronte and Sam Guerra. And I'd like them to come up and sit here if they would. We want you to get on the camera. And Shannon can advise you if you're not picked up by the camera.
You can pass these down.
And as they're passing along the materials, let me just refer the Commission to agenda item 9B, which is a special presentation for Ralph Chapani. Since the Since the first selectman is going to be making a presentation to Ralph for his years of service, he's agreed and graciously agreed to come over here at about 7:15 on his way to the Board of Finance budget hearing. So when we get to a point in the proceedings when it's 7:15 or when the first selectman walks in the door, whatever item we will be discussing will just pass temporarily until that ceremony is finished, and then we'll resume that item on the agenda. And thirdly, I think what we'd like to try to do is move as expeditiously through this particular agenda as we can, because the Board of Finance is having its final meeting before it makes its recommendation for the town budget for 15-16. Having said that, that's in no way, shape, or form an attempt to tell the Scouts or advise the Scouts that they have to speak and present expeditiously. Not at all. We certainly welcome you here. We know, and some of us know, that only 5% of every boy who's in Scouting actually becomes an Eagle Scout. And it's a select group of people. And I can say that with some pardonable pride. Not that I was a Scout, but my son Michael was a Scout, only he's 32 now, and he became a Scout Eagle years ago. So I know what it is. I know what you're seeking. So what I would ask you to do, and just for the record, introduce yourselves and then make your presentation. And we'll probably have some questions for you. We might have some questions during your presentation, or we might have some questions following your presentation. So, gentlemen, if you begin.
I'm P.J. Melafronte.
and that's Sam Guerra. And we both plan on making separate boat racks at Jacobs Beach, basically as soon as we can when the ground defrosts.
See you next year.
So our plan of action is to start work in the early spring, and it should take about 2 to 3 work days once we begin work. I had a materials list that Mr. Maynard had given me, and I got a quote from Zen that is Appendix A, and so those are the materials we'll need, and there's also a list of supplies that we'll need. That is it in the packet. Sam and I are, as I said, making separate projects, so once I complete my project, he will build off my project, sharing one set of posts, so I will have one extra set of posts than he will.
Me and PJ presented our projects to our troop last night, and going along with BSA policy, they felt there would be a conflict if we both did our projects together. So I really want to stress that PJ's going to build his first, and I'll build mine off of his, so it doesn't look like we're working together, and that there's enough leadership for both projects.
Yeah, it would be just like he's building off any other existing boat rack. It doesn't necessarily have to be my boat rack.
Given that my project is going to be, my boat rack is going to be smaller in size because I'm not using the 2 posts in the middle. PJ will be putting those in first. The preliminary cost for my project is a little bit lower than PJ's because I don't need to buy the 2 posts to go in the
Sam,
middle.
what's the proposed cost of your project?
For mine, it's $513.
Do we have that?
No, you don't have his packet. Why don't you send that down?
And just to back up a bit, PJ, what's the proposed cost for your project?
633.
Well, when I went to Ring Zend, my project is about
633.
yeah, about 630, but minus $100 because they give all of these products are discounted, and on top of that, they said they'd give me $100 towards the project.
Oh.
And also on top of that, though, will be a $20 delivery fee. Yeah, so I guess what we should talk about next is this stuff.
Well, tell us if you would, just where about at Jacob Beach we constructing the boat racks? I mean, we know where the current racks
Yes.
are.
They're going to be, I believe, Mr. Mayor, the way he described it to me was that it's going to be, if you're looking at the beach, where the boat racks are, they're going to be to the left and a little farther back.
It's the only place.
Correct me if that's wrong, but
So would I be looking at the water and then there's to the left of that?
Yes.
I believe so.
Could you help us out with that too?
Perpendicular to the current racks. So if you have your back to the playground and you're looking toward Grass Island, it'd be bordering the adjacent property.
Okay.
Between the volleyball court and the water. So it'd be perpendicular to the current racks. We can't go parallel or along, continue building where the racks are. There's that sort of little beach that's been formed there by Irene or Sandy, one of the storms. And so to avoid, if we put racks there, they would be in, the high tide would come up and be affecting them. So they would be perpendicular and along the property that's adjacent to the beach area there.
So they would be to the right of the current beach. In Rick's scenario,
To the left if you're facing the water.
right, but facing the beach, they'd be to the right, or they'd be, in other words, they'd be east of the current.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And perpendicular.
And perpendicular.
If I could just really just quickly add, I think we had talked about the number of spaces on the 2 racks would be about 30, and as of today, we actually have 30 on the waiting list. So we have already sold out these 2 that, and I kind of pressed on these guys, we really need to get them in like May 1st, and so as soon as this stuff's gone, this white stuff out there, they'll be all digging, I guess.
You might want to pass this picture down. It's an example of how my boat rack and Sam's boat rack will be connected, sharing one post. And that, I guess, is the big price difference from my project to Sam's project, because I will be, obviously, getting 2 more posts than he will. Okay, and the one question that Sam and I had was, is there any permit or anything we need to be able to build these?
No, I don't believe there's any planning and zoning permits or anything, so I believe
You've never
it's just the
had it?
commission. Yeah.
They're not near any wetlands or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, ocean's wet, but,
Well, now they're wet, but...
yeah.
So, am I correct to say that PJ's bottom line cost, counting the $100 discount and the $20 delivery charge, is $553.65, and then Sam's was a little bit less, it was $513?
Yes.
So the total is $1,066.65-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what you were looking for in terms of approval for funds?
Yes.
The question I have is, Jack, do we want to pursue this as one motion or 2 separate motions? Because theoretically, it's 2 projects, so just to keep everything neat and clean,
Yeah.
I think we should do
Good
that.
point.
So,
Yeah, definitely from a scouting aspect, it would be best if it was two separate, so like it wouldn't cause any discretion of us having a neutral.
Of course.
I move that we approve the boat rack to be built by Mr. Malafanti.
Second?
Any discussion? Call for the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Congratulations. And as far as Mr. Sam Guerra is concerned?
I'll make a motion to approve Sam Guerra's proposal for the boat racks for the cost of his.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on the motion? You ready
just
for
in
the
total,
vote?
how many additional boat racks are we basically getting? 30?
That are spoken for.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Unanimous. Gentlemen, congratulations.
Except, Sam, you will not need parking passes for the beach. You're good.
Okay.
Doesn't start until the beach opens.
Even if you're late, no parking passes.
And we
Get
would
the
ask,
free pass in, come on.
we would ask as a follow-up that when you complete your project, in some way, shape, or form, you report back to us, just to let us know, the progress and what you've done and what you've accomplished.
Okay.
I mean, you may be busy, but you may want to submit it as a document to us. Or if you're that familiar with the camera and that comfortable with the camera, please come back and see us. We'd love to see you again.
All right.
And any questions or issues you have, take them directly through her.
Yep.
All right.
And thank you for doing this. As you can see, we already have those boat racks spoken for that people are waiting for, so it's a much-needed project that we appreciate greatly.
You're filling a need for the town, but also you're filling a professional need for yourselves and for scouting.
Good job.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, get to work. Still daylight.
You want your proposals back?
Yeah, and we need a signature from,
Oh, on the form?
yeah, one.
Only one for
I
Jack.
think our chair should sign it. Should Jack sign it?
Or Rick.
Is there another part of it?
Yeah, I usually have to sign that.
Jack?
I think I usually sign
Has
it.
the one part.
I may have
Why don't you
it.
go for it then? Do it. Here you go.
The only part I need back is the one with the contact information.
You have Sam's?
There's Sam's is right here. I want a Sam's right
I
here.
got a couple extra ones here.
Yeah.
Does he have?
They'll find them in about an hour. Put it in their person, and they'll find it.
So you guys need to sign right now, or what?
Get it done.
It takes 2 minutes to sign.
Like me with the mail when it comes in, hardly gets to sit.
What did you want to read?
That's where I get the right spot here.
Most of it's junk.
We can go on probably.
I left your package, so you have a whole package.
Who took the picture of this one?
This is Mike Chapman's correspondence yesterday. Okay, guys, thanks. I'm gonna keep one of these.
Do you want one of mine as well?
Yeah, you got a spare one? Okay, thanks.
Well, guys, thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
I have one.
Resuming the agenda.
Of course.
Agenda item number 3, correspondence. We're in receipt of one letter from a Jim Gable, the managing partner of the ice rink. And it's been referred to Rick for consideration and discussion. I know you have a copy. Would you like to take a look at mine? Or?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have one of mine. You guys have it in your packet? I don't have mine. I have a
It's not
copy
in
in
our
the
packet.
office.
Not our package.
Anyway, I think it was addressed to you, Jack. I think it was to you, Jack. And so I just put it in your packet so you had it. But I don't think the whole commission got this. But did you need to discuss it, or just want to hold it for future reference, or what?
Well, why don't you hang on to it? And,
Yeah.
and then at some point, you might want to respond to the man about that.
Okay. It's a portable refrigerated ice rink. I'm sure there's a pretty high cost to it. I haven't, gone that far into detail with it. We usually have we started out with some good skating this year at Mill Pond, but we don't always have a year like this. But, you have done a portable rink on the green at Guilford Lakes tennis courts. And they met with some success. The green one didn't, because there's just too much vandalism there. And the one that when we did it at the Guilford Lakes tennis court, it was pretty good, but the plastic kept leaking water, and so it wasn't holding water, and it didn't work out. So, if you want, I can get some more information about this, see what the cost is. It sounds like it's kind of a rental thing, where you rent this for the winter, and they provide the refrigeration units and so on. So if you want, I'll look into it and just get some costs and bring it to another
And the
meeting.
concept is, it's a portable refrigerated ice rink.
Right.
And that they would set it up in the fall and then take it down in the spring. And I guess they store it.
So I'll find out the cost and what kind of electrical needs.
Yep.
How big it is?
Yeah.
Maybe we can go see one. It's a little bit too late now, but we'll speak to another town that has it.
Yes.
And item number 4 on the agenda, the approval of the minutes of the February 2015 regular meeting of the commission.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any corrections to the minutes?
Was it really held on the 17th? Oh, yes, because
Yeah,
of all the
because we had the
snowstorms.
storms.
Yeah. Felt like yesterday.
Did you vote to accept?
Before we vote, one correction on page 1 of the minutes. In the paragraph immediately following Mr. Charles Lee, 1, 2, 3, 4. The last word in the fourth line down where it says, Mr. Pender said the department's responsibility was to the beach area, and then it would not want to take on the cause of everyone affiliated with the lake. And that's correct for the major reason that most of Lake Quanapog, or Quanapog Lake, is owned by the state of Connecticut. Some 87 or 88 acres is owned by the state of Connecticut. And our beach is one minuscule part of that, and that's our responsibility to the town of Guilford. So that my proposed would be that after the phrase, Mr. Pender said the department's responsibility was to the beach area, because the state of Connecticut owns and operates the rest of Lake Quanapog.
But this is what you said, though, Jack. You said it was you meant the other property owners on the lake, I think.
No,
Well,
everyone.
yeah.
Property owners, estate, Choate.
Well, the Choate, Rosemary Hall, I think there's also a motorboat ramp or a fishing ramp at the north end. On the eastern side of Lake Quanapog, there are houses, and above that there are the condominiums. So there are about 300 people there as well, all of which we think come under the direct purview and responsibility of the state of Connecticut. Certainly not the town of Madison, not the town of Guilford, or the Guilford's Park and Recreation Department.
No, but this conveys that everyone affiliated, whoever it is, property owners, boat ramp owners. So I think the minutes as written would reflect what you said. It seemed to me it does. Because it isn't the state of Connecticut that owns it all. There are property owners that own at least their property in front of their house to the watermark.
All right, well, I'll withdraw that.
Okay.
With the understanding that it's clearly not Lake Quanapog, apart from the beach, is not the responsibility of the
Right,
town of Guilford.
Right.
That's the important point.
And I think you made that really clear
yeah.
that night, and we all agreed. We all shook our heads.
Okay. Okay,
Shook our heads, yes.
I'll withdraw the amendment, proposed amendment, and motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of the minutes of the meeting of February 17th?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And we have one abstention. Two abstentions, that's right. Of Claire Kincaid and Ralph Chapani. Motion carries. Agenda item number 5 is the review and approval of expenditures for February 15th. We received a copy of that electronically at midweek from Rick.
I move that we accept the bills as presented in the total of $93,755.38.
I just had a question on one of them. It looked like there was a double charge.
Yeah, that was John Deere.
I don't have that copy because I didn't put
Yeah,
mine down, but there was a double charge. Is that a mistake?
I don't think so. I think it's, that's John Deere Landscapes, which is the
Yeah.
ice melt we get.
Right, it was the exact
And when we get a pallet of ice melt, that's
Okay.
what it is, and we probably got about 5 or 6 pallets this year, so I think
Okay.
those were 2 different invoices.
Just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that it wasn't a
I'll
double.
confirm that, but I believe that's what it
Okay.
was.
I'll second Barbara's motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the expenditures for February 2015 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
No.
None.
Unanimous.
Agenda item number 6, department reports. 6A, Rick, want to share your report with us, either in whole or in part? And I know that there might be some duplication there because of some subsequent agenda items.
Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay. Do you want me to highlight anything here, Jack?
Well, I see under number 5 in your report, there's going to be a discussion, a report by you under agenda item 7,
Yeah.
7B, the Green Committee. And likewise, under number 6 in your report, we're going to have a discussion about, under unfinished business, section A, community center security system. And I guess as an informational piece on number 3, the purple mini lights, I've noticed the tree on the green has a great shade of purple or lavender, and it's in the center of the green. And I've noticed that driving up and down Long Hill Road, there are scores and scores of streamers of that same color, ultimately leading to the high school. So I gather it's something to do with the high school.
Well, it looks a lot like Rosa's sweater.
This is true.
So yeah, I'll just highlight there real quickly. It's the Developmental Assets for Youth, the DAY group, which we're a part of. Ellen sits on that committee from our department, and youth services and volunteers in the community. They're having, as I mentioned in my report, Chris Herron, who is a former Celtics basketball player, was involved with drugs and alcohol as a professional player and lost his professionals, he lost his job. He was no longer a basketball player, lost a lot. And so he now goes out speaking all across the country about kids standing up against drugs and alcohol. And so he's going to speak at the high school on March 23rd during the day to the student population, and in the evening at 7 o'clock to anybody else who comes. And so encouraging people to come and fill the place. As a former Celtics professional basketball player is going to be here. The significance of the purple, my understanding, is that at one of his speeches, someplace once, there were a bunch of kids in the front row wearing purple. And so he's taken on the purple project in a sense, and excuse me, it's like painting the town purple. And so everyone was encouraged through the month of March, especially when he comes on the 23rd, to wear purple to show the kids who are saying no to drugs and alcohol, hey, we're in solidarity with you, support you. Because there's often a feeling of these kids that they're a minority, and evidently they're not. There are a lot of kids who are not doing drugs and alcohol at the high school level, and this is the whole thing to show support for those kids. So the purple lights on the tree, we arranged to purchase those lights, which was paid for by the DAY group. We arranged to have the Christmas lights taken down, those put up, and we're working with the DAY organization, helping with that. You might have noticed snowmen on the green that Pete Ott and his family. Dave Ott, Pete is one of his son. Dave Ott and Lisa Ott, their family, built those snowmen, and they put purple ribbons around them. And all the purple ribbons you see up and down the streets, Long Hill Road and around the green, were by that volunteer committee. They've been putting it out there. So when Chris Herron comes to town, he drives up Long Hill Road. It's going to be a purple highway, basically, to the high school.
Nice. Love it. Good.
So people are encouraged. It's a free event, and it's an important event. He's got a powerful message. I've seen some of it online. And he's a powerful speaker. He's got a real strong message that's good for the kids and adults to hear. So that's March 23rd.
So for the public, yeah, I was going to say for the public, it's March 23rd at 7 at the high school?
Correct.
And I do, in fact, remember Chris Herron as a basketball player. And he did play for the Celtics. But to balance it off, even though the Celtics certainly has been my team for years, he played for the Denver Nuggets for about 6 or 7 years, too.
Yeah.
So not to slight the Nuggets fans.
Rick, have we hired a receptionist?
Not in writing yet. We have offered it. In fact, I asked basically, I can tell the staff, so not yet because we've not officially gotten the response that the person has accepted it. But there is someone that's very good.
Good. Okay. Good.
I just have one question for you on the Springfield assignments. April 1st is usually the date that we let the sports teams go onto the fields.
Right.
If the fields are not going to be ready is there any way that, are we going to do anything visually on the fields to say, keep off, until you approve that the fields are going to be suitable for practice and play?
Yeah, well, we could do that. We have signs we could put up, but we notify the presidents of all the organizations. In fact, I've ever had a couple of them asking me, when do you think we'll be able to get on the fields? And I said, did you look out your window yet?
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
they're going to tear them up before even the...
They're not going to be, there's no way, I can't see any possibility that they're going to be on April 1st. And I remember 1 or 2 years in the past where everything got pushed back about 2 weeks. It was mid-April before they could start playing. And that may be a possibility this year. So I have the letter that I have not completed yet of all the field assignments. I hope to get that done this week. In there, I sent a cover letter out to all the sports organizers, and in that we'll say that, weather permitting, you'll be on the fields when we, allow you. But it's not going to be when they normally get on this year. That I can guarantee.
I just wanted to make sure, since we were not on the camera last week, last meeting because of our changes for our schedule, but I wanted to just make sure that we acknowledge the hard work of all the staff that was involved in the Winterfest.
Yeah.
They did a wonderful job. I wasn't able to attend personally, but I heard that it was wonderful,
Yeah.
and they always do, but I think they really should be given a lot of credit for that. They did a super job.
They did, yeah, about 600 people came.
Yeah, a lot of people attended.
Yeah, it was a great event.
As far as the Parks Foreman report, Tony Anicelli, do you want to comment on that or embellish it or add anything to that?
Well, mostly snow removal. That's, these guys worked a lot of long hours with all these snowstorms, and
Did the equipment hold up? Do we have any problems with any?
yeah, I mean, there's always plows break down, they got to get them fixed. The snow blower, one of our snow blowers had a problem, they had to get it fixed. The Public Works is good about trying to get us back on the road. But 2 of our guys, for the last couple storms, Public Works was down manpower, so 2 of our guys on overtime worked strictly for them on the roads. They didn't do any of our, we took them off our parking lots, our sidewalks, and they helped Public Works on the roads, 2 of our guys. And so, that's part of the cooperation we do, and we help them out. But yeah, the guys were, it was a challenge. We came in, along with Public Works, after the blizzard down on Whitfield Street by the stores and Broad Street around Page Hardware, that area, and I'm sorry, Boston Street. Because the snow was piling up so high, it was all on the sidewalk, and so Public Works, with their loader and our loader, we all moved the snow and put it on the green, so that's why I see big piles on the green. They asked permission to do that. I basically said, yeah, you got to get it off the street. And I mentioned it to Joe Maas, and I think I talked to Steve Page about it too, who's the chairman of the Green Committee. But it made it more efficient than having to try to truck it away somewhere. But so, we worked, Public Works and Parks and Rec worked a lot together during these snowstorms.
And we've heard so much around the state and around the region about the toll that the storm has taken on the trucks and on the plows and on the beds and on the roads. But I think one of the things this town can be proud of is also acknowledging the toll that these storms have taken on the workers on the trucks.
Yeah.
Both Public Works and certainly our own folks in this department. And there are stresses and strains and fatigue that are just incomprehensible to most of us.
Yeah.
And for that, we commend them and we respect them and we kind of envy them in a way.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to note that, not to take anything away from the guys in the trucks, I would not want to be out all night long trying to plow, and that's huge what those guys do. But our other guys are on the sidewalks. They are not in trucks. They're walking either with a snow blower, although we do have one that's enclosed in a cab, and most of it's like pushing a snow blower. And think about your own driveway, how long that takes. And now add 10 hours, because we have 2 miles of sidewalks that we do. And a lot of that's by hand with snow blowers. And so all of our guys, from the guys in the trucks and the fatigue, and the guys doing the more hand work, walk behind snow blowers and so on. There was a lot of work those guys had this year. So we're behind on rebuilding picnic tables and soccer goals and everything. That's what we're normally doing this time of year. Okay. And we have some catching up to do there.
The delay in opening the fields and having to take care of the fields may give them a couple of extra weeks. And I'm wondering, it seems like item 3 in Tony's report talks about repairing tables, and I remember that last year we said that not Chittenden.
Jacobs?
Oh, no.
Chaffinch.
Chaffinch Island
Need more
could
tables.
use another half a dozen
Yeah.
picnic tables. So I'm hopeful that they could use that time to build those tables.
Yeah, we're
so
talking
they're
about
ready
building
to go.
10 new picnic tables this year.
Okay, good. And-
Great.
And most of them are going to go to
Yes.
Chaffinch Island?
Yeah.
Excellent, okay.
Do you know if that also, the picnic table work includes the changes we were going to make to those picnic tables that were down at
Yeah.
Jacobs that we
Yeah, that's part of it.
felt
The
we were
ones that were
going to
too-
lower?
too
They were
low,
too,
yeah.
we were going to lower them, they were too high?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that they're
Yeah, lower
included?
them or raise the seat or something, but
Raise the
yes.
seat.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there are 4 of them, I believe, or 5.
Yeah, I was going to
They
say,
know
there's
that's-
4 or 5
they
that
have
we
do
had to
that.
do something to.
You know, and when you look at all of the work of the park foreman himself, as well as supervising the other maintainers, would it be fair to say that he's been able to keep up with other things such as routine safety inspections as well?
As well as we can, yeah. We
Yeah.
have done,
But
not
they haven't been
winter now,
ignored, though.
playground
Yeah.
inspections we did in the fall. And there are some things that we have to replace. We've ordered some of the things that have to be replaced. And once the weather breaks, we'll be doing that. But yeah, any of that kind of safety stuff, he's been able to keep up with. We do have to do inspections of fences, but you can't do it when the fence lines are buried under the snow. Again, that's something the guys usually do in the winter. They go out and inspect
Yeah.
fences and whatever repairs they can make, they do. Otherwise, we contract out some of it. We haven't gotten any of that yet.
But as you said, what he can do, they do.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
consistent with the weather and environment.
Right. And part of that is the picnic tables. The picnic tables have, slippery stuff going on or whatever. That's part of the safety issue is why they rebuild some of these picnic tables. And soccer goals. And this time of year, we bring all the soccer goals in, and those that need either some welding or repainting or whatever, they do that in the winter.
Ellen's report, Recreation Supervisor. Just a question on the last item, where it says, met with Ted Golf Course regarding accepting memberships via RecTrack, in parentheses, WebTrack online system. Can you tell us about that? Because I know the Guilford Lakes Golf Course has a web page, and they encourage registration, not only at the clubhouse, but also, I guess, through the rec department?
Yeah, they don't have online registration, and so we've offered to help them with that. So just like we have a program for aerobics, a program number, the golf course is going to have a program number. There's nothing we really have to do other than set up the program number. When it goes through, it goes right into the account at Town Hall, and the report will be printed out to Ted at the golf course and the golf course commission, so that people will now be able to pay their memberships online, which they have not been able to do before. So we're just assisting them with that. Again, it's another thing, we're cooperating with another town department.
Thought you just went.
And as a department, we're encouraging any golfing activities
When you want.
go through the golf course as well.
Yeah, in fact, in our brochure that just came out, we have a half a page information about the golf course, their membership fees and so on. Even though it's not a Parks and Rec program, it's, again, we cooperate and work together with them, trying to help them. When we do lessons, our lessons are at the golf course.
Thank you. And Terry Buckley's report on the seniors program. Rick, anything to comment on that? It seems to be self-explanatory, and I think we're on the way to quantifying it as best we can, an aspect of it that Barbara had been keeping us honest about for many, many years, as far as the accurately recording the passenger miles to reflect not just the miles, but the number of people per passenger mile. Are you all set on that, Rick?
Yeah.
Agenda item number 7, report of the commission staff representatives to commissions. Item A, Standing Fields Committee. Rick, I know Rick John and I attended the, I believe it was the February 23rd Standing Fields Commission meeting, but can you let us know the status of the fields for the spring and the availability and
Well, I think one of the issues that I can't remember, yeah, I think we came up at that meeting is, or actually it might have been after the meeting, I got a note that we may have very limited access to the high school fields this summer. Spring we're okay, but they're going to be doing the demolition of the high school during the summer and ripping up parking lots and, you know, starting to knock the building down and so on. And so I sent a letter to, or an email to the school superintendent, and I gave him the dates of our summer camps and Legion baseball and things that are going on the fields out there for the summer. And I got a note back from Rick Mazzenti, school principal, Friday, I believe. And it looks like we're going to be able to get in a couple of our camps. Will be okay. Our tennis camps are no problem. There's no conflict with those. Our lacrosse camp is going to be okay. Ralph and I talked about this. Legion sounds like it's going to be okay, Ralph, right? So your last official day is July.
Came on the 13th.
Yeah.
12th, I'm sorry, and they
Yeah.
told me to be up by the 13th.
Right. So it's beginning July 13th, they're shutting the facility down until August 17th. So I've also sent an email out to youth football, because they normally run a jamboree on that turf field sometime in August. And so I alerted to them that it's going to be shut down during those months up until August 17th. The only thing we'll have a conflict with is, well, the general public won't have access to any of the track or anything during that time, because, again, it's going to be a construction site, or destruction site, I guess. The only thing we have to move is we have a field hockey camp and adult field hockey pickup games that we have that was on the turf field. We'll have to move them somewhere else. Probably the Long Hill.
As far as the spring schedules are concerned, though,
Spring is okay.
I think even under the best of circumstances, that's a difficult task, given the fact that the Lake School field is not in use.
Correct.
And originally you were scheduled to irrigate the Cox Field.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's being deferred a year to accommodate
Correct.
further sports teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we're okay for the spring, and I think as a commission, we have to sit down in the not-too-distant future to deal with the summer, but more particularly the fall sports.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be the real challenge.
Got a new football coach also, so
Oh,
I think
can you share that with us?
I don't know who it is. I just know that he's been hired. They're kind of keeping the name mum, although I have a suspicion of who it is. So that's probably why you haven't heard anything back from the AD about a camp. No intentions of what the new coach may or may not want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. 7B, rather, the Green Committee. Can you update it on that?
Yeah, just, and Tony mentioned in his report, I think I did in mine too, that we met with the chairman and vice chairman, that's Steve Page and Jerry Silbert. Just, they want to have some input about how the green gets maintained and looking at some different options for maybe some organic top dressing, which we've done some of that with compost and doing a little more of that. Maybe some watering of certain areas, and we're going to work up a plan of, they're looking for what it would cost, not so much, well, man hours, but also in product, because we don't have a line item anymore in our budget for the green maintenance. We used to, but it's not there anymore. And so in the past, if we needed a certain amount of fertilizer or top dressing material, we would just go to the Green Committee and they would pay for it. So they want to create a budget for it. So they've asked Tony and me to work up a cost estimate, and they'll look into, I think they're looking into maybe recommending a different schedule of fees and charges for the different groups that do pay now for the green, because that money goes into the green account. So if they know it costs, say, $8,000 to maintain the green and they're only getting in $6,000, they might want to raise those fees to cover those costs.
Why don't we just pass temporarily over that item, because we have the first selectman with us, and we want to consider new business item New business, we'll get back to that. New business item B, special presentation for Ralph Chapani.
Oh, okay, this is right on time.
And Mr. First Selectman, we thank you very much for taking the proverbial time out from your busy schedule. We know what it's like.
Okay, thank you.
And we know where you're going as soon as you finish up with us as well.
I'm trying to get your budget approved, that's where I'm
Well,
going.
that's why we're being nice to you.
Okay,
And why don't you, we want to get you on the camera.
okay, how about if I just come over here?
Okay.
This is a, Ralph, this is a thank you from the town of Guilford for all your years of service as chairman and as a member of the Park and Rec Commission. And please accept this as our appreciation for your service, okay?
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
it. Well, I certainly enjoyed the term here. I'll take my one-year hiatus and we'll see what happens.
Okay, and Ralph has, I don't remember the amount of years you've been here.
This term 8 and on a 6-year term prior to that.
Okay, so it's great, and hate to see you go, but we've got this little rule that says you're term limited, and maybe someday we can change that. But thank you again, and like I said, we really appreciate all your hard work and the town of Guilford. This is just a small token of our appreciation, so thank you.
Thanks again, Joe. I know the heads butted every once in a while, but it all worked out in the end.
Well, 2 guys from New York, they have to butt.
Is it the Bronx versus Brooklyn?
2 Italian guys from New York.
And he's a Met fan, and I'm a Yankee fan, so we're
There
never
you go.
going to agree.
Okay, agree to
Ralph, thank you
disagree.
again.
No, man, appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate it.
I'd like to say that in the short time I've been working with you, I found you to be a man of your word.
Okay, well, thank you.
And that door goes both ways, so it's reciprocity.
Okay.
From us to you as well. So thank you very much for what you've done.
Thank you, and sorry for interrupting your meeting.
No,
No.
it was all planned.
Perfect timing.
All planned.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Ralph, you're not through yet.
Oh,
You have to stand up again.
don't embarrass
If
me
you don't mind.
again.
But you've been running around the Mets fields for a month now, and you have a suntan that's the envious of us all.
Actually, I did go to Port St. Louis.
But you have to be on the camera, though, that's the thing.
So Ralph,
He is a Mets faces.
on behalf of the Parks and Rec Commission and staff, we have this plaque, which it's not a wall mounted, but a desk with a nice clock on it, and list the dates you were involved in the commission and your years as commission chairman. And I think that is not the right time, the battery's in here.
Daylight savings time.
Yeah, yeah, and thank you.
No,
As a
and-
director, I enjoyed working with you all these years,
And it was
too.
a pleasure for me. We had our issues along the way, too.
Yeah.
However, all came to a fruitful conclusion. And my personal thanks to the commission members who have worked with me over my 6 years as chairman and on my 2 terms on this commission. It was a pleasure. 99, 44, 100% of the time. Thank you.
Yay.
We hope you're going to continue, because I think you told us that you're
I have to continue
You're
until
going
I'm
to continue on
replaced.
this commission until your successor...
There was supposed to be 2 Republicans here tonight to observe and then make their decisions, but that's obviously not the case.
I
So,
won't get into a partisan issue, you know where I am on that one.
well, and I will add that as an editorial comment to the proceedings here. In all the years I've been here, this has definitely been an apolitical commission.
Always has been.
This commission, in my opinion, always continually to try and make the right decisions for what was right for the town. No Democrats, no independents, no Republicans, and I take pride in
We
that.
hope we can follow your example in that.
Thank you.
And you have to stand up one more time. I just have a couple of words to say about Ralph, and when I'm through, I hope somebody else will jump in as well. Feel free to do so. In the year and a half I've had the pleasure of working with you and for you, I've found you to be affable, accommodating, accessible, and amenable. Now, usually they
It's more
tell you...
raised than I had in college.
Usually usually they tell you when you're going to do something like that, you do it in groups of threes. But if I would have had done it in threes, that would be like a triple A. And of course, triple A is minor league baseball. 4 would be Major League Baseball. So you're truly in the major leagues.
Thank you, Ted.
And just to embellish a bit on it, and I'm not a man who's long for words, as you probably know, I find it to be very affable, sometimes with a mischievous smile on your face, always friendly, and always teaching me some new words I had never heard before.
Not all of which we can say on TV.
No, we won't say those, but we can all guess what they are. But it starts with your heritage and your proud heritage in Brooklyn,
Right.
where you're so proud of your Bensonhurst neighborhood background, which I've come to know is Bensonhoist.
Tony Avenue and Tony Toy.
And also, in your discussion with the first selectman, you talked about the limitations of the town charter. Well, for months and months and months, he'd been talking to us about the charter. I had no idea what the charter was until I figured it out. It was the charter. Again, another Ralphism. And probably lastly, or second to the last, I recall you one time talking about the Rousters. I hadn't a clue what the Rousters were until I put it together into the context of baseball rosters. So again, another.
It's like roof and roof.
Well, you lead me right into my last comment about once I heard you talk about the woofs. And I had no idea what it was. I figured it might have been something relating to your to your technical background, or your computer background, or woofs and tweeters and things. But as it turned out, you were talking about wolves. What the context was, I don't know, but I know it's Bensonhoist.
That's probably accurate.
And accommodating, you've been more accommodating to us, and to me in particular.
Thank you.
Always trying to include us into the conversations and into the dialogue, and without excluding it all. Accessible, always accessible. Call you up, ask you help with transition. You've done that as well. And lastly, you've been most amenable or amenable. I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation is. You would always listen. You're willing to change your mind, except if it was a discussion about the Mets. So to leave you with the 4 words, Ralph Schapani Jr., as I recall him, and will continue to deal with, affable, accommodating, accessible, and amenable. Thank you.
No, thank you, Jackie. Good luck.
Okay, thank you. And please, anyone else have some even
What
we'll
we
say
know about this.
stories or comments about
She told me to
Ralph?
get dressed.
He's still going to be with us.
Be warned, don't say anything bad.
In fact, I think he foreshadowed that by telling the first selectman that he'll be back. But after the 1-year gap or hiatus in the charter, is that what it is?
It's 1 year, yes.
Okay.
And then you have to go through the process again of reapplying through your town committee, going through the interview, and then being selected after that interview process.
They might turn you down next time, Ralph.
That might be too old next time. Thank you all again very, very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. So your option is to stay or leave? It's up to you.
No, he's still
No, he's still on.
He's still
I'm
on.
still here. I
There's no
haven't
option. He
been
needs to
replaced.
sit.
I'm
Yep.
going to replace the chairman,
Yeah.
as you well know.
No, but we give you the option tonight if you want to leave.
Yeah, I don't know where to go.
Why don't you show your lovely wife
My wife will only
what
want
the
me to
first
go.
selectman gave you and what the department gave
My
you?
horizon.
I'm coming to yours.
Thanks to all again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
And just resuming back on agenda item 7B, the Green Committee, Rich, if you could pick up with that a little more.
I think I finished. So just basically the bottom line is that we're looking into working with them on a maintenance plan.
Good, good. Okay.
But you'd mentioned earlier, though, that previously that the Green Committee would pay for the materials. And now you're saying that they're asking us to pay for that?
We haven't had a budget for the green.
Right.
If it's a couple bags of fertilizer or it's grassy, we just did it. But if it was something larger expense, we would go to the Green Committee and ask for funding.
Okay.
And they would approve it.
Because I know they're proposing to increase the rates on the sandwich board signs
Yeah.
on the northern part of the green, which potentially might give them some additional revenue as
And I
well.
think that's the reason they're asking for what the cost is to maintain the green, so that they can create a budget
Right.
and have that money available that comes from the revenue from those signs and groups that rent the green.
And it's clear, though, that this department will continue to maintain the green.
Correct. Yeah.
Any other comments?
No?
Agenda item 8, unfinished business, the community center security system. Rick?
Just we're continuing to work on specs. I think in Alan's report and mine, we both had mentioned that we met with a representative and with Tony Santarcangelo, the town's IT coordinator. And we're working on, there's a lot of different ways you can do this, the security system. And we're trying to come up with what is the best. We're also speaking with people from the Board of Ed about their system, and had some conversation with members of the police department, because they just recently went out to bid. And so we're trying to merge a lot of these different ideas together and find out what will work best for us here.
Sounds like a plan.
We want to do it right, and we want to,
Yes.
so there are a lot of different ways to do it. We have different ways in town that it's done, and we want to make sure we're kind of on, maybe at least on the same page as the police department, so that they would have access to it if we needed that, a similar program.
And if need be, if you feel the discussion before this commission needs to be held about layouts or things like that, it will certainly convene into executive session for that. That's clearly an executive session exception of the FOI. Even though the snows of winter are still here, what about agenda item B, the dog park?
No new report. Again, the surveyor started the project, and then we got that blizzard. It's been under snow since. So he'll come back once the snow melts to do that.
And HC, the proposed ordinance change?
I had a follow-up discussion with Joe Mazza, and he was in the budget process at the time, so couldn't put a lot of time into this, but the town attorney was away, and when she's back, he wants me to then sit down with her, and she'll write the ordinance proposal, and then we'll go forward with that.
Okay. And speaking of the budget, Thursday night, there was a, excuse my voice, I'm recovering from the flu, and Rose is leaning away from
Now
me.
you tell us.
There was a public hearing. You were there, Claire was there, and I believe it lasted until about 10:30.
And actually, I got to go down in a couple minutes for
Yeah.
the second half of it.
Yep, and I think some of us will join you as well. But, thank you both for enduring.
It was interesting. It was not a good night out.
It wasn't a good night. And agenda item D, the grant for transportation for seniors and those with disabilities. I think you'd mentioned to me earlier in the week that Terry had completed that application.
She completed. There's just a form that the Sheila Bolano, the finance director, has to sign, and we'll get it in. I had a conversation on Friday with the administrator of the grant, just to confirm a few things, and we're right on it. And the deadline for the application is March 20th. So as soon as I can meet up with Sheila to have her sign it, we'll send it out, and we're ready to go.
And they will still do part of the transportations.
Well, this grant is through the state, and
Right.
so it's about $44,000 that we're requesting. And yes, I've had a conversation with the Greater New Haven Transit District Executive Director, also Donna Carter, about a week ago. And I'm still waiting to get back from her what a per-hour rate they would charge us. But
Okay.
the idea is that we would contract out some of the services
Okay,
to them.
fair enough.
And they would require us to have the town attorney would have to work out a contract with them because there's some seniors that are outside of our scheduled hours that, you know.
That's what I'm concerned about, yes.
Yeah, so we don't want them to get dropped. We want to make sure they're still taken care of. And so there's a portion of that we would contract with Greater New Haven Transit.
Okay, good, thank you.
Any other questions on that? That brings us down to almost the end of the agenda, and I have a request, excuse me, to add a new item, C, 9C to the agenda, and it would be, it reads, the aesthetics of the community center. So could I have a motion to add that, a new 9C to the agenda entitled The Aesthetics of the Community
So
Center?
moved.
Second?
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, okay.
Okay?
The
Can I
proponent
go?
of the motion?
Okay, yes.
Of the request?
Well, as some of the members of the commission who've been here for a while, you remember that I took on the role of Martha Stewart and did a tour of the community center, which, in my opinion, continues to need some upgrading and some maintenance, that painting, cleaning up, for instance, those rug samples, they were there 6 years ago when I did the last survey. So what I'd like to do before I step off the commission, which is, my term is up, is to do another survey and put that together in a written report, and hope that those who follow me will urge Rick and staff and others to follow through and tidy things up here.
That'd be great.
Good.
Okay, that's a wonderful idea, thank you.
Rose, could you help out with that?
Sure.
Okay?
And your term may be up, but you're in the same status as Ralph.
That's exactly right.
So you're going to serve until your replacement.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. And your day will come, too. Any other items for discussion?
Not for me.
Do I hear a motion to, before we adjourn, the next meeting is Monday, April 6th. I don't want to say rain, snow, or sleet, but
No, don't say that.
April 6th.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a sec- No second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.